Yo, what's happening, man? You feel me? It's your boy Finesse Dog. You dig? We back again. When we back again, we keeping it rolling. We keeping the consistency going. You dig? Hey, man, appreciate all the support I've been getting. You feel me? All the comments I've been getting, the likes, the views, the shares, the new subscribers. We damn near at 150. We started this year with 97 subscribers, and we almost had 150. So we've been growing. You feel me? It's March, so we on an uptick. We only gonna keep rising. So you feel me? Tap in, you feel me? Hit that subscribe button, tap in, you feel me? Support your boy, you feel me? We got gameplays and we got reactions, you feel me? But today we got that Battlefield 6 gameplay leaks reaction, you feel me? We gonna peep some gameplay details. And man, Jack Frags is always on point when it comes to the Battlefield and all these other military shooters in within the genre. So we gonna peep some game. Like I said, man, appreciate all the support. We're going to get right into it. Let's get it.
So I was out all yesterday, didn't get a chance to make a video, but I had so many comments from people saying, have you seen the leaked Battlefield gameplay?
Word.
Yes, I've seen it. It's part of the Battlefield Labs playtesting that they're doing. It is supposed to be under NDA, but obviously
I still got to sign up for that too.
It's happened, whatever.
For real.
One of the guys was just streaming it on Twitch.
Hey, I thought the gameplay was fake. Word, because I seen it, and first of all, the gameplay I seen, it wasn't that great of quality. I think there's multiple clips out there, but he was getting dog walked. Like, he was terrible at the game. Like, he would spawn, run out into the open and just get smoked. And he was getting farmed. Like, he was terrible. But I thought the gameplay was fake because he was streaming it. I seen in the top corner, it was like streaming to such and such 36 people or something like that. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is this real gameplay? Like, whole time it was real, like he was actually streaming it.
And that guy was playing on PS5, interestingly. I watched the whole thing. That was like
crazy.
A 20-minute video. They open up the PS5 overlay at one point, so they're testing PS5 and PC because the other gameplay's on PC. The two of the perspectives that I've seen, I think, are on PC, and they're more like little clips, so they're just uploading little clips every now and again of different features of the game. So in this video,
and I was going to react to the gameplay too, but I'm like, nah, they probably going to strike that. They're going to take that down ASAP. You feel me? I'm like, it ain't even going to be no point. Even if it did numbers, it's going to be smoked anyway. So I'm like, nah, we ain't even going to see what this fool Jack Frags talking about instead.
Video. Obviously, I can't show you any of the footage from these videos because I'm in danger of a copyright strike if I do that. I don't want to do that, but it's everywhere right now. Like I said, there's still YouTube videos that are online. They've not copyright strike all of them. They've just done
some of them for some reason. Up right now.
On
social media, 165,000 views, still up for days.
Discords. It's pretty easy to find. But like I said, I sat down, I watched everything in these videos, and in this video today, I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that I saw in those videos that I thought were pretty interesting gameplay changes and additions for this game. Remember that this is pre-alpha, so I think everything is subject to change.
Right.
I even said that in the blog that they released earlier this week. This game might not even release this year, based on what EA said on their earnings call. It could be March, April next year.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to release this year. If it did, I'd be surprised.
The point of this playtest is for feedback too, so I'm sure that when the game releases, it might end up looking very different to the videos that have been released over the last couple of days from these playtests.
Word.
Okay, so meat and bones then, as I mentioned, I watched all of these videos, and here are some things that I saw in the videos that were quite interesting. First up is soldier dragging. In one of these videos, you can see the player get killed, they go down on the ground, and then they're dragged by a teammate that's reviving them. Remember, this was in the BF3 single player. DICE said that they were thinking about adding this as a feature in BF5. It never made it. It looked kind of similar to BattleBit, where you can drag people along the ground as you're reviving them, and then they get revived. So you can pull them into cover, pull them into smoke, whatever. That was in this build of the game. I also saw defib, so apart from dragging and reviving, there's a defib option there too. The movement looks slightly slower paced than BF 2042.
Way slower.
Grounded feeling like BF3, BF4.
Even though I feel like there's probably going to be some settings that you feel me? You can probably change to make your movement a little bit quicker. But because the 2042 movement was cooked. Like the base settings, like the gameplay settings that come with the game that you first start with were slow as hell. But then you feel me? I went back and changed some settings, and I'm out here moving like COD. I was out there slide canceling and all that. So you can probably change it.
I didn't see any tactical sprint. It still looked arcadey. It didn't look like a milsim direction. I would say, based on the video, kind of a mix between BF3 and 2042. The minimap was in 3D now. If any of you guys played the original Bad Company game, that had a 3D minimap. I don't think we've seen it since then.
That's actually a
but
cool
in the
ass
videos,
mini
you
map.
can see
I've
that
never
the
seen that
mini map
before.
is now in 3D. And in the
At least I don't
overlay
remember it
spawn
being in
screen, it's
3D
also
like
in
that. That's
3D
cool
there,
as fuck.
And you can ping on that
Why'd they go away
screen
from
too.
that?
So you might all be dead as a squad, and you could say, "Hey, I'm going to ping this building. Let's go and attack that. Get that objective."
That's
There's
cool
a lot
as
of
hell.
destruction in these videos that I saw. In one of the clips,
the
you can see
buildings and whatnot in
RPGs hitting
3D?
buildings, tanks hitting buildings. It creates rubble. The rubble drops down. It kills a player at one point. So it would appear that in this build of the game, rubble drops were present. And also, there's one point where one of the players is driving a tank,
And he
they
went
drive
right through the
corner of a
building.
which
Facts.
gets destroyed.
I seen
And the
that.
rubble actually
I was like, hey, yo, my man drove damn near right through the building. He like clipped the side of the corner and went right through that joint.
lands on top of the tank and damages the tank. So rubble can also hurt vehicles now too. The explosion effects and particle effects all looked new, very cinematic. There's plenty of people using smoke in these videos. And if you watch the 1080p video recordings, you can see that the smoke kind of looks physical, which means that it appears to be adhering to its environment. And there's one point where a rocket is fired past a smoke grenade, it hits a building, and it kind of looks like the explosion affects the smoke and it moves. So we might have physically based smoke effects in this game. And it made me think of the teaser they released for 2042 where they showed smoke effects on a cube. You guys remember that at the digital EA Play thing they had during lockdown? Perhaps they couldn't get it in 2042.
Good details.
Maybe they have it in the new Battlefield. Just going to give my opinion now for a second. The audio, I think, was very good, very immersive. Lots of new sound effects in there. It had a very crunchy BF3 sound. There were some 2042 voice lines in there too, but these are apparently placeholder. And this was confirmed by David Serland, who's one of the lead developers on the game on Twitter. He replied to somebody here. At the end of one of the rounds in the video footage, we can see a scoreboard. It's got kills, deaths, assists, etc. Scoreboard looks like all the functions are there. Also, like all chat is in the game in these videos. So there were people chatting to each other and the enemy team.
I noticed that. I was like, there's people like chatting in the playtest, like in the chat. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny.
Picture-in-picture effect, like a camera on squad mates before you spawned on them. We had this in BF4. I'll try and find some more footage of that and put it on the screen now so you can actually see what the squad mate's doing at the time that you spawn on them. And if you wanted to spawn on a capture point, an objective, it gave you kind of a overhead drone view, like a live drone view, to give you a bit more context before you spawned in. In the video,
they should have they had to. I'm glad they're going back to like all these features that they had in these previous games that they took out, because like you got to bring it back to the essence. Like we got to go back to that good old Battlefield, that feel. You feel me? That Bad Company. You feel me? We got to get back to that feel, because like I said, we need some more competition out here in these military shooter genres. Like it's not looking that great. We got some good potential out here. We got some good games coming up that have good potential, but we got to get back to that good Battlefield feel. I feel like they did it the best when it comes to that open warfare combat in a big setting on a big map. Like they just did it the best. So got to get back to that. Like these little details that they're adding back to the game, details.
Driving the tank around, you can see that there are vehicle supply stations, which look like they repaired the vehicle and gave ammo back to it. So if you look at the HUD, you can see that the primary cannon has limited ammo, but the coaxial LMG secondary does not. So it looks like some vehicles now have limited ammunition, and if you want more, you've got to go and resupply at one of these vehicle stations.
A little realistic.
In all the footage, you can see plenty of different weapons that are being used. I saw the MPX, M4 carbine, ACWR, G3, MP5, ACE-23, M249, RPK. If you go on the Battlefield Reddit, there's somebody who's compiling all of the weapons that are in all these videos. So it looks like in this build of the game, there's a ton of weapons already, which is good to see. When the players were near objectives in Conquest, you could see the outline of the capture zones in 3D space on the ground, outlines, kind of like how it is in Delta Force. Neutral, white, red.
That's what I was trying to think of, the game that I was thinking of when I said there's a lot of games out here with some type of potential that are coming up, but not really. Like, I think Delta Force ain't even on console yet. So they can't even really branch out and go big the way they want to, because they're not even available for everybody yet. But that's the game I was thinking about. Delta Force. Kind of like Battlefield, but
own it.
Like I said, just not as
in these videos and a bit too much in my opinion. But David Serland, again, same developer we mentioned before, replied to someone on Twitter saying that there is a current build of the game where they've toned it down. So I hope it doesn't look as intense as it does in these videos when the game eventually releases. There were 4
defined.
classes: assault,
Even though that's
engineer,
Delta Force,
support,
so.
and recon. When support players were putting the bag down, it was resupplying ammo and health. So think about support and medic in a classic sense merging together and becoming one class.
Word.
Each class also had 4 levels of a tree-like specializations in BF3 and BF4. It looked like they leveled up over time. So the engineer in one of the clips has an anti-armor tree, for example, where level 4 was an active ability and they could deploy a thermite drone that exploded on nearby vehicles and disrupted them. Assault was stuff like temporary damage resistance against explosives. Recon, if you got to level 4, had a mortar strike. Remember those in Bad Company 2. And level 3 for the recon was if you headshot enemies, they can't be revived. Support level 4 essentially turned you
That's
into
a crazy perk.
AoE supply crate for a little bit, where you gave out heals to nearby friendlies
Headshot
and you
enemies
got
and they
super
can't
fast
be
revives
revived.
for a limited
You're
time.
dead.
Of course, there were gadgets
You're
for
gone.
each class too.
Respawn.
And it looks like in this build of the game, all classes could pick any weapon they wanted. So there were moments where you could see engineers using assault rifles, like the G3 and the AK, for example. Supports could use carbines, assault rifles. I
they
saw
gotta get back to
assaults with
this.
SMGs. So in
Feel
this
me?
build, all class weapons were available.
Word.
It could just be that they're testing this at the moment, getting reactions
like
to
Battlefield
it,
4.
letting people play with all the weapons.
I think this is
Based
Battlefield
on
4.
2042, maybe this is by design. If it is by design, I think it's a mistake. For me, class-locked weapons are a core part of Battlefield and what makes it different to other first-person shooters like COD. I think class-locked weapons reinforce class identity. They boost team
It
play,
makes
they
sense.
add more depth.
Because it's like, you feel me? If you could just use any class, like any weapon with any class, it's like you could just do anything at this point. You feel me? Whatever you want at that point. But I feel like if you kind of like class lock it forces you to kind of pick and choose. Like, okay, if I want to use the AK, I got to use the assault class or whatever. You feel me? Type shit.
They add a roleplay fantasy element. It prevents catch-all loadouts. The game's just more interesting with them, in my opinion. If you think back on top of the obvious specialists,
Some people might like it, some people might not.
Is one of the biggest
It is what it
reasons
is
why
to me,
BF
but for me,
2042
but
felt
I
like
can
a
see
hero
why.
shooter. And I fear that
Why
they
some
might be
people would
making the same
prefer
mistake here,
that.
but I digress. It's a video of a BF Labs playtest. As they said, a lot of stuff is placeholder, could just be for testing. We'll wait and see. Some other new things I noticed in the videos. It looks like each squad member has individual missions and accomplishments that are popping up in the round. There's one point where a player gets a kill and a new personal best banner pops up. It's like a gold banner pops up. We also see a commander notification at the bottom of the screen. This could be an actual commander role, so it might be back, but I think it's more than likely that it's this AI commander in inverted commas that people have mentioned in the past. This was in a previous leak, I think it was on Blue Sky, where an ex-developer talked about analyzing the game and issuing orders to squads as suggestions, like, hey, we should maybe go and capture this objective. If someone's near you and you can revive them, there was a notification at the bottom of your screen with their name saying need revive, so they've made that a bit more obvious. There's a compass at the top of the screen. At one point in the first leaked video footage, somebody in the chat says that if you hold the button down, grenades go further. So perhaps you can adjust the range at which you're throwing them now.
Word.
When the player died, the camera stayed in first person. So you kind of see yourself falling to the ground and then staying there. And there's a last known position effect on the screen, the position that the person killed you from. It doesn't update live. And there's some additional damage log information when you were killed. The HUD overall, in my opinion, looked a bit too much. I think there's too much going on. I
Hey,
would scale it
I ain't
down a
gonna
bit and
lie.
give the option to adjust it.
even
Aside
the-
from that, there is a little income.
Like even this little HUD right here, like it's stuff on there, but it's like it's not OD clunky and like there's a not a bunch of stuff going on that footage I've seen. It definitely was a lot of extra shit going on in the HUD. So yeah, they got to tone it down to like how it is right here in this screenshot right here.
Coming fire effect. We did see this on the initial teaser, these weird teardrop things on the screen, but it didn't look like this
You
was
could probably
actually
change it though.
affecting gunplay, which
Take
I think
certain
is
things
good.
out the HUD.
More of a
Maybe it's
visual indicator
customizable
than
like Black
anything.
Ops 6.
And that's about it. I mean, there's a load more stuff that I wrote down, but as I said, this stuff is out there. It's not difficult to find it. If you want to see it, go watch it for yourself. See what you think. Based on these videos, it looks like they're ticking a lot of boxes. It looks like a modern, updated version of BF3 and BF4 mixed together, which I think is what a lot of Battlefield players want and have been asking for years. But that's just based on the videos, and there might be some fundamental things there that I disagree with. I'm not saying I'm right, and I understand the other perspectives. And remember, this is just gameplay from one map. Publicly, we don't know much more about the game. We don't know if it's going to have a server browser. We don't know about the anti-cheat. We don't know what the live service is going to be like. Is it going to have a lot of content, lots of maps? How regularly are there going to be new maps? How buggy
Around
is the
that
game
time
going to be
wasn't
at
that good of
launch?
a-
Hopefully, not so
wasn't
much.
a good
if
time
they
in my
keep
life
doing
around
these
that time
tests.
when that game
But
was
these
active,
are
I think.
all
So
important
that's probably
questions
why.
as a fan and somebody who's just into multiplayer games. My point is, we don't know these things, so we can't jump to any conclusions from these videos. But I felt like I couldn't really not talk about these videos. I don't usually talk about leaked gameplay stuff because it's typically unfinished, and this is unfinished. It's part of a playtest, and you can see in the videos.
Gotta try to get in that playtest, man. Gotta sign up.
Guns aren't rendering properly. There's flickering walls, untextured plants, all sorts of stuff. But there's just so much stuff out there.
There was like
and the
floating
amount of
debris
you
in one
guys
of the
that were asking
gameplays
me
that I
to
seen.
look
So
at this stuff and react.
definitely
So
early.
I've gone ahead and done
Super
that.
early.
Everything that I talked about in this video was based on the videos that were leaked. There's some interesting stuff there, and hopefully you've learned something about the new game. With that said, it's over to you. Do let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I presume that if you're watching this video, you may have already seen the leaked footage. If you had, comment below. How do you feel about it? What are we thinking? Drop me a like if you enjoyed the video. Really appreciate your support as always, guys. Thank you so much. Dislike it if you didn't, that's fine. Subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
W Jack Frags, man. You feel me? Jack Frags always seems to have the, you know, the battlefield content, just the overall military shooter content on lock. So yeah, man, like I said, I wish I could react to that leak gameplay. I was gonna do it, but I'm like, nah, that joint getting copyright strike ASAP. You feel me? They gonna find that video, search and destroy. You feel me? They gonna search and destroy that video. So I'm like, let me not even, you feel me? Then I seen Jack Frags. I seen he posted some updates. So I'm like, all right, let me see what he talking about. So W Jack Frags, he always got the military shooter genre on lock, from PC to console and all that. But yeah, man, hopefully this new Battlefield come out right. You feel me? Hopefully they get it done. So I'm not really expecting it. If it came out this year, I think that would be rushing it. I'll be surprised. Maybe they might be further along than we think, but I would assume it'll be sometime next year, early next year, first quarter. But feel me, it's your boy Finesse Dog. You dig? We out now, for real.